Alrighty, here we are again tonight, joined with
I Greetings. I am the Mar 5000 unit. I am here to talk everything 80s films.
Mario.
They will be they will be assimilated into the collective.
As you guessed tonight,
Resistance.
have a nice day. Yeah, as you guessed tonight, we're doing a fan commentary of Chopping Mall, which,
Also also known as Killbots for a short period of time.
yeah, this was Mario. He suggested this one, so I'm like, yeah, I'm down for it. And I know Mario here has the Blu-ray, and I have, okay, for one, and we haven't started the commentary yet, but I have it part of an 8 pack, which also includes Waxwork, The Unholy, Slaughter High, Ghoulies 3, Chud 2, and Class of 1999. So yeah,
At least one of those other films is a winner from what I hear.
and I have Waxwork, and like in a double pack, but yeah, a lot of these I haven't seen, but you know, it was Chop 'Em All is one of these movies that I didn't see later till later in life. Uh, I've heard about it, and then when I found this horror pack, I'm like, yeah, I got to get that. So
Yeah, this is a film that Effrey turned me on to. It was a while ago. If I remember right, he sent me it on a DVD-R, and that's how I first watched it and reviewed it actually for a Monster Fest one year.
oh really?
When I saw that and when I saw they had this collector's Blu-ray that they were doing, I'm like, I got to get it to see what the features are. And it's one of those ones I bought, just put in the drawer, like I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, yeah.
And with these commentaries, it's like, hey, this would be the perfect time. Pop in.
And have you watched all the features on that?
All the standalone ones, because not counting the three commentaries. That's right, folks. Three commentaries on this Blu-ray. We have Back to the Mall, which is the main featurette. You know, it has all the actors, the directors in there talking about the making of the film, some memories from how they shot certain scenes, and of course, how they're a little, considering this is a lower budget, essentially B movie, they're a little surprised that the fandom that has grown around it in the intervening years, and they're actually kind of proud of that too.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm glad that I was able to discover this. And it's a crazy idea. It's a batshit insane idea. um,
And like I just mentioned to you before we turned this on, it's essentially taking the idea of Short Circuit, changing the setting, and turning it into a horror film.
yeah. So someone's out there. Since we mentioned that, someone's gonna take that idea and make it into a trailer.
Yep. Either there's two ways you can go about it. Either have Johnny Five be the one who's offing everyone. Must get Oscar. He thinks
But
they're all Oscar. Or have the Killbots versus Johnny Five. Your mother was a snowblower.
that I'd like to see. Give me that movie.
Yep.
But if you have the
That would.
DVD, what? I say what?
It's like if they actually did do something like that, they'd probably have it as a comic rather than a movie.
Yeah, this is and we'll get into more about the film because there's some interesting tidbits and trivia with this
Mm-hmm.
one, along with some notes and stuff. But uh, are you ready, Mario?
I'm ready when you are.
All right. I guess for folks out there, if you have the DVD or Blu-ray at home, you can have it ready. I have it on the 1 second mark. Uh, so, alrighty, you're gonna kick this bad boy off. So here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Roger Corman. That's
Lightning
one thing.
Video. Is that what you're looking at? Lightning Video.
Mine said Concord presents.
Okay.
You got a shot of a jewelry.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, then I guess that's one difference in the DVD and the Blu-ray is the presents thing.
Yeah. There's a little something different there. So, um, but so what's going on here? This guy's robbing some jewelry, and
He definitely looks like an archetypical '80s goon.
yeah, he
Well,
does. Like goon number 5. But
he's like, what the fuck? He's like, seriously?
like little Ed 209 Jr.
Yeah. Of course, at 209, the guy would probably be crapping his pants right now.
Yeah, yeah. I
Until
ain't,
Ed trips, and then they'd be like, really?
it ain't gonna work, buddy. But yeah. I mean, the
But,
film was directed by Jim Wynorski, which before this, did he directed the Return of Swamp Thing, right?
yep,
And
that and Deathstalker 2 seem to be his biggest claims to fame after this film. Because I looked through his filmography real quick, and he has 102 credits, but most of them are like low budget TV or directed DVD fare.
yeah,
Like the last thing he did was Cobra Gator.
that's what I wrote down. I was like, okay, I recognize. Okay, I've heard of some of these names, but like the Return of Swamp Thing, 976, Evil 2, Ghoulies 4, Demolition High with Corey Haim, and then Cobra Gator. Yeah, which that's the
There's
last thing.
a lot. This is a title that I that just jumped out at me just because of the name. Busty Coeds versus Lusty Cheerleaders.
I couldn't believe like the long list of films. I'm like, golly, this guy's directed a lot. I'm sure not all winners, but sounds like a
At least, at least he's still getting work.
yeah, probably you know,
Could you
but
imagine though, if, like a high-profile director doing some of these films that are on his filmography, like the one I just mentioned, the Lusty Coeds? Imagine Spielberg or Tarantino directing that film.
people would be like, what the
If Tarantino did it, there'd probably be a lot of swearing and
3 hours long and
a lot of shooting at the end.
heavy dialogue, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was written by the director and some guy, Steve Mitchell, and this guy wrote some episodes of the G.I. Joe cartoon back in the day.
Yep. And Jim actually went into the writing process that him and Steve had on the Back to the Mall featurette at the very beginning. And the way he was describing it kind of reminded me a little bit of how the Pythons would go about writing their episodes. You know, they get in the room and collaborate, talk about ideas,
Yeah,
go back and forth. There'd be disagreements, and it'd be, like, you're an idiot, your idea sucks. And of course, eventually they'd have to come to a compromise and be like, all right, you hate that idea, I hate this idea. How about if we combine the ideas into one and see where it goes?
yeah, and it's kind of just the whole idea is just crazy. Like I mean, what's in the small that I have to ask? That requires security robots. I mean, what would
Other
you?
than the jewelry store, we got to make sure that those people don't steal the Big Macs.
Yeah,
Because during the running scene, you could see that there were some golden arches around the corner, which we all know that was probably inadvertent just because of the setting, because there's no way in hell a film this small McDonald's is going to do a product placement for.
and this was the same mall that, and we mentioned before we started. This was also used in Commando. The scene where
Yep.
Arnold's in the mall.
Yep, where we had an endless supply of security officers running to kick his ass.
Yeah, and I think it was used later in T2.
Yep, the Sherman Oaks Mall.
And but due to the budget constraints with this one, I think they were like, "Oh, don't damage anything," and
Yep. They didn't even have $1 million budget according to IMDb.
It says 800,000. What does Wikipedia say?
Let me see what Wikipedia says.
And we got the title right here, chopping them all. You're maybe a couple of seconds ahead of me, but that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, the title just faded away on my end when you brought that up, so we're not too far off. It also says the same on that, but it also mentions the original release length was 95 minutes instead of the 76 minutes that our copies are.
Yeah.
Which, like how I mentioned earlier, it was called Killbots. That's part of the reason why, because it was originally released under that title. It performed poorly They brought it out of release, re-edited it a bit, changed the title, did tweaks in the marketing, and here we are, shopping mall. Which sadly they don't really go into that on the main feature. Maybe they mention it on the commentaries, but on the feature they don't even talk about that, other than the actors giving their reaction to the title. That they kind of thought it was weird, like shopping mall. Should it be laser mall?
Yeah. Which actors were on that?
Oh, it looks like all the ones that played the leads were
Okay,
on
like
it.
Kelly Maroney and
Yeah, they're all keep talking about their little moments, like the one character that we're going to see later that's good with the gun, how they're reacting when they go into the sporting goods store.
yeah,
The thing about pepperoni.
yeah. He smelled like pepperoni. But this isn't. I mean, it's you can look at this like, man. It's like you look at the mall. And it's like, man, I miss the days of the mall. like now,
Yeah,
like nowadays, it's like a shell of what it used to be.
yeah. Although the one by me is coming back a little bit because they now have one of those arcade things there now,
Oh, like a
and of
laser.
course, not like a laser arcade. It's one something. It's the one that they have the karaoke rooms in,
Okay. Yeah, written by
and of
Jim.
course it also helps when you have a movie theater at the mall.
That's true. But
And a Cheesecake Factory.
well, damn. We got like a furniture store and a bookstore, but yeah, it's pretty much not what it used to be. This is interesting here because there's some movie posters getting to the little kitchen scene. Not well, the little restaurant scene here. There are some movie posters in the back, and I was trying to eye them. I think one was like Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah, this was a Corman production, even though his name's not on the film. His wife is officially listed as the producer, but as it says on the trivia section, even if he's not on the film, it's essentially his show. Since the buck has to stop somewhere.
Yeah, and here we have Kelly Maroney and Barbara Crampton. Kelly Maroney from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and which I haven't seen neither Comet. I've never seen
Neither
that.
have I. That's the one they mentioned on the features, though. They didn't talk about Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, she was in that. I was looking that up, and I was like, she was in that. Oh,
Yeah.
Barbara Crampton, of course, from Reanimator. Rest in peace, Stuart Gordon.
Yeah. When I heard that, I'm like, really? He's gone? I hadn't heard anything about him being sick. Wow.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere, and I know she was in. She had a bit part in Body Double, like in the beginning, or I remember, and then she was in From Beyond, which I haven't seen. I haven't seen Reanimator either, so I'm kind of missing out on the Larry Cohen stuff.
Yeah, Reanimator is the only one of Gordon's films I've seen. I actually got that special Blu-ray they did, I think last year, in my drawer over there. And the interesting thing about that is that the source material was written by Lovecraft as a parody of Frankenstein.
Yeah, that one I have to pick up. I've been hearing so much about that, but this is here we have the guy in the lab.
Like, what the hell's going on
Yeah,
here?
when there's
Come
ever
on,
a guy
Bobby,
like
Bobby.
it just seems like whenever there's a guy in the lab like this, is kind of sitting back having a smoke, like okay, something's gonna happen here.
Well, not my problem.
But
Instead, he looks like he's going to go look at the beautiful ladies.
yeah, some boob action.
Hey, baby.
This
I got
kind
a
of
cigarette.
and it's funny because like around this time, this kind of reminds me. I guess I'll throw this in there because being a big fan of MacGyver TV show, like the first episode of the second season, his character was there was this episode where he fights off the security bots. So as I thought that was interesting. Like around this time, there was I know between this and Short Circuit, which I know they're complete opposites. But yeah,
A lot of
throwing that out there.
a resurgence of humans versus robots.
Yeah,
And of course, we mentioned it 209. This is the year before RoboCop came out. So you can put that in that movement as well.
yeah, that category.
Yeah, and then yeah, it came out before that, but you can kind of put the Terminator in that movement if you want, but that's also kind of a horse of a different color. That's more like a sci-fi slasher film, just with this killer being a robot instead of being a human that, for some reason, can survive bullets.
Yeah. And here we have some of these actors. One of them is Tony O'Dell, the guy with the glasses.
Yep, there he is right there.
And
And the one chewing gum, uh,
oh,
he said on
John.
the he said the reason that he was chewing gum in this scene was for the audience to not like him as much.
And he plays it off well because it's like right, wherever that scene he does, it's like he looks like the '80s d bag, like
Yep. As a wise man would say a couple years after this, what a dick.
yeah, what a dick. But this guy now, they got chewing the gum. I was looking at his filmography up. Now he's directing live TV stuff, like
Oh,
episodes of
that's cool.
the Blacklist and Criminal Minds. He directed some episodes of that. Boston Legal back in the day.
Oh, interesting.
Like he's done like I didn't see when's the last time he was did any acting, but he sure is directing a lot nowadays.
That's good. He was able to advance his career in another direction, at least.
I think the girl in this truck here, I think that's Carrie Emerson, and she didn't. I was looking her up too. Like she didn't really do too much after this.
Sometimes that's the case, sadly. You're just in a couple things and you're like, yeah, this ain't for me. Or you're just doing it just to pay the bills and decide to move on or what. So that just happens sometimes. Like my high school cinemas literature teacher, that was the case. She was in a handful of things when she was younger. Then she moved on once she got her English degree.
Yeah,
The most interesting story she had was that she actually worked on something with Mary Lambert of Pet Cemetery fame, and she actually got her autograph.
well, that's cool.
And Lambert was actually surprised that she knew who she was. Like, you actually know who I am?
Yeah,
Wow.
and I didn't know this. Like this film was also shot in 22 days.
Yep, you know it's a Corman film. You got to shoot it pretty quickly.
And
I can just imagine him sitting there. Wow, why do you think it is? We got all the time in the world. Remember, time is dime.
yeah, and and there was talks of a sequel. I'm just kind of blowing through the trivia here, but I guess there was talks of a sequel because after the film earned decent box office. Like, what do you think they would have went with the sequel? I know.
The sequel, you'd have to switch up the setting at least. You can't do the mall setting again, or else you got to come. If you did, you'd have to come up with new ideas for them to get around the killbots in the mall. So maybe like up it a bit and have it be in suburbia.
Yeah, that would have been a cool
You'd have
setting.
you'd have to find a way to in order to restrict it so you don't spend too much money, but maybe like have them in a cul-de-sac or a gated community,
Yeah,
or like the golf course in a gated community.
maybe a movie theater. I don't know why I just thought
Oh,
of
that
that.
would be that'd be interesting. Movie-
Movie
Yeah,
theater bots.
yeah.
Which I mean,
Do you do
what?
you have your ticket?
Yeah, they could be the ushers or that'd be actually a
There,
cool
it,
idea.
there is no talking during the movie.
No cell phones, no texting. This father's like, I ain't buying this story.
Yeah, he's like, I know what you two are gonna do,
Yeah.
but just don't let me catch you. Just the smile on his face says it all.
Yeah, they got you in the gum. It's like, man, this guy, he's a certified dick. He just looks like every '80s douchebag, like William Zabka. He could put him in that group. And Kelly Maroney, but
And there's some '80s hair too.
oh yeah, definitely Barbara Crampton. But
Luckily, she's not wearing glasses because if she was, she'd probably have those archetypical '80s ones with the giant lenses.
and I think I was reading this. let's see. The script is full of in jokes, writing in characters from A Bucket of Blood and Eating Raoul. The writers got the actors from respective films Dick Miller, which we'll later see, Mary
Oh yeah.
Warnov, and Paul Bartel. But okay, in May 1985, a press release indicated that basketball star Akeem Olajuwon was cast in a small role as a security guard, and that the film would star Linda Blair.
That would have been interesting.
The blurb was reported in the sports pages of the newspapers across the United States. Imagine that.
Linda yelling at the robot, "Your mother sucks cocks in hell."
Yeah.
I
spitting,
am a robot. I have no mother.
spitting pea soup at the robots.
Or if it was like Johnny Five. But that was a little harsh language, wasn't it?
And this is pretty much like you said. I mean, it's you turn around Short Circuit, make it an evil version, and you get this. And like nowadays, like wasn't there talks of a remake a while back? But they never went through with it, or
It would probably be super serious if they did a remake to the point where it's like, all right, the effects, they're okay. You can see the production values, but it just wouldn't be enjoyable.
yeah, wouldn't it be as crazy or insane? Like they would try to
It's
make it
like
serious and make you sympathetic towards the robot, the killbots.
it's like bring up RoboCop, a film we talked about earlier. The RoboCop remake, the main reason it didn't work is that it went with it took the seriousness that the first film had, but then it dropped the fun aspect of it, and not just the over the top nature of the action sequences, but the satire.
Yeah,
It essentially sterilized the film. There was a little satire in there, but I think that's more due to who they cast in a certain news role rather than the writing.
are you talking about? Oh, Sam Jackson.
Yeah, if you're gonna satirize, a lot of the news networks, who better to get as an over-the-top news anchor, especially when he's gonna drop an F-bomb.
Yeah, I mean when your film, I know we're talking about the RoboCop remake, but when it starts off with Sam Jackson flapping his lips, I'm like, great, okay, went for a treat. Yeah, that I didn't care for that.
All we needed was Sam Jackson to say, "Welcome to Media Break, motherfucker."
Yeah, instead of lip flapping. But it's just like nowadays, if they try to do this, they would try to make the killbots sympathetic and make us look like the bad guys. We deserve to be killed or whatever. And what would they have? They would have cameos by some of these people right here. Nothing rolls. Well,
Yeah,
at least Kelly Maroney. Were they
like
gonna have her?
yeah. Now, of course, if we were to go with what you just said, I think we can all agree that Mr. Gumshoe will probably be the only one who'd be going, "Yeah, the robots deserve to kill him."
Yeah, because you.
It's like all right there. There is no reading while on shift.
Yeah, I was trying to look at the book. Okay, now he's getting. Okay, he just got killed right there. Now we're getting to the party scenes.
Party.
And Barbara Crampton, I don't know what she's doing in the. That's a crazy dance in the back.
But is it crazier than Crispin Glover's dance?
That's right. Can't top that. Final chapter.
Yeah. Oh, he's messing with his collar.
Pop that collar, boy. But
Uh,
there was at
Look
least
at himself.
there was at least two different versions of this film. The TV cut has some extra footage, such as the small homage to Attack of the Crab Monsters.
I have a feeling that's probably some of the stuff that was cut out when they took it back out of theaters. And the funny thing is, they don't even address that re-edit in the editing special feature. They kind of gloss over that thing on that one. I figured that'd be one where they would address it, especially since they have an interview with the editor. Let me bring up what her name is real quick. Leslie Rosenthal. And she said a line that actually sums up this film pretty well, I think, with the tone that they're kind of going for at times. Mad Magazine meets Porky's.
Yeah, because there's some elements of comedy in here. While it is a sci-fi horror, but there's some bits of humor.
And it's the good type of humor,
Yeah,
not the type where you're like, ha 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 ha.
and on the DVD commentary tracks, the director and the writer discussed many details of production, including an injury that the director suffered while helping prepare a stunt sequence.
Oh
And
yeah, his ribs.
what happened?
uh, if I remember right with that one, he decided to do the stunt first. You know, it's that one thing like I'm not going to ask anybody under my command to do something I wouldn't be willing to do. So he does the stunt, and in the process of landing, he injures his ribs. I don't know if he full on broke one or just bruised it, but either way, he was in pain. But he hid it because he didn't want them to know. Which, considering the low budget nature of the film, you kind of see why he wouldn't want to mention it until after he gets the shot he needs.
Yeah.
And it could be because of how he landed. You know, it's probably the only time I'll bring up an analogy like this. It's like in professional wrestling. If you take the move wrong, you can hurt yourself. Especially if it's one of the more elaborate moves, like AJ Styles moved the Style Clash. If you don't tuck your head the right way, you could break your neck.
Yeah.
Same thing like with a pile driver. If your head is too low, you can break your neck. That's what happened with Stone Cold.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Owen Hart thing.
Yeah, he already had neck problems at that point anyway. It's just that didn't do him any favors.
And that's I'm getting past that scene, but where the robot goes in front of the door right there. Like I would have thought like one of our characters would have seen that robot, or they were just too out of it.
They're probably too out of it, and they probably saw it in passing, but they're like, it's just patrolling. It's not going to mind us.
Yeah,
You got a license for that outfit?
that's right.
That sounds like something I would say.
It's like a setup right here for like an '80s porno.
Yep.
But also too, the director had unfriendly relationship with the Galleria's security chief, and
Yeah, he was an asshole.
and we're just thinking about what this mall has been through. It's been through Commando. It's been through this film. This mall has seen some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Some crazy movies.
Speaking of shit, here's that pepperoni line.
Yeah, you smell like pepperoni.
Like I like pepperoni. An interesting story they mentioned about this scene is that he felt a little awkward about this moment. So when she's about to strip and then turn around, he was keeping his eyes directly on her eyes. You know, it's kind of like that meme. My eyes are up here, but a little different.
So
Like,
I wonder how many times Barbara Crampton has heard that. I mean,
what about this moment right here?
yeah, like that line. I mean, it's like, do I pick up? They use that. Is that a pickup line? Would you say or?
It depends on if he hadn't said I like pepperoni afterwards, it would be a
Yeah.
bad one. But it is kind of a bad one in and of itself. But there are worse. I don't like sand. It's rough, it's coarse, and it gets everywhere.
I mean, because nowadays, if you tell that to a girl, you're probably likely to get slapped. She probably wouldn't strip for you. You might get a slap in the face, or.
That is true.
But. So you get some tit action in here.
Yeah, this moment right here where they're watching the movie, on one of the features they did a nice little edit where they made it to seem like they were watching the movie they're in instead of crab people. It was when they were showing how on the Blu-ray the picture has been cleaned up. They showed how on the older releases how it would have come in like all scrambled and like let's say you're watching a film version that has been copied like several times over.
Yeah. Man.
Or you're watching it on a beat up old TV.
Yeah. Look at those glasses on that guy.
Yeah, it's like nerd.
I thought
To make them even more awkward, it's like they got people making love behind them
yeah.
and to their right.
Yeah, this is definitely of its time because there's people. But this guy, I think the guy plays Ferdy here. He was in The Karate Kid and The Karate Kid Part 2 as the character Jimmy. I'm trying to remember which character. I guess he was part of the Cobra Kai. Is that?
Well, that sounds about right. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched Karate Kid, but that sounds like which group he would be in. He kind of looks like one of them.
Yeah. And he did some stuff later
Yeah.
on.
At least he's getting farther with his girl than Johnny Depp got with Heather Langenkamp.
That's true. Yeah,
The end.
yeah.
Nice little segue there.
Yeah, it'll be great. Dick Miller.
Yep. And it's like, when it comes to robots in the 80s, Dick Miller just cannot catch a break.
Nah, robots, aliens. Well, didn't the same year he did Explorers? Yeah, he did Explorers in the same year.
He lives through that one, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he was like a cop or something in that one. Yeah, I believe he was like a cop. So he lived in that one. But around this time, I mean, he was doing what, Gremlins, and after this, he probably did Inner Space, and later on, The Burbs. Rest in peace, Dick Miller.
Yep, you are sorely missed as a character actor, buddy. He also did voice work in Batman: Mask of the Phantasm as Chucky Saul.
Oh, he did? I didn't know
Yep,
that.
first guy that gets off by the Phantasm.
I believe it was in Small
Oh, man,
Soldiers too.
I mean, I think he's the first one that gets. Yeah, he's the first one.
Yeah, he's the first body here. Which the Killbot claws were actually made from plastic toy grippers adapted with electric solenoids.
Yep, and they actually had to design. It took them a couple designs to get the look of this robot right. I mean, they already had a vague idea what to go with because the director mentioned the movie Gog. It
Yeah,
was like a 50s, 60s sci-fi movie, but they were trying to design it to get the look of it right with what its function is. And it looks like they got the body right after a couple tries. It was the head that they kept having to get right, and oh, there he goes.
eyes being electrocuted. Yep, that's a cool kill.
Kind of also a little fitting. I mean, they were reprogrammed by electricity.
Yeah,
A
Dick Miller's fried
little bit
crispy.
little dark humor.
All right, so now things are starting to turn here.
Yep.
Things about to go south. You killed Dick Miller. You started it all. But let's see here. What else we got as far as
We go from one dick to another.
yeah, that guy's still chewing that gum even during sex.
Hopefully, it's not the
During
same
these scenes.
piece.
Yeah, it's like stop chewing that gum, man. John Terlesky. But the director says Kelly Maroney was cast because I had seen Kelly in a couple of things and I wanted to date her. So I figured the one way to make that happen was to put her in a movie. She replaced Dana Kimmel, who had been cast and on the strength of her performance in Lone Wolf McQuaid. But Dana did not want to do anything that was sexual, according to Mitchell, the screenwriter, or half of the screenwriters. So Jim was very quick to say, well, she's out, so let's get Kelly, who was pretty much a game for anything. So, and also Carrie Emerson replaced someone else. So, oh, some boobs right there. Yeah.
And the,
As soon as I looked up, I saw boobs. So,
and the look on his face is like,
yeah.
oh, look, knots. They had a knots thing hung up.
You wonder, like, because, I mean, of course, they're, sneaky about throwing this party that no one else didn't spot them besides the bots. That, hey, these kids are sticking around. What's going on here? Like,
Yeah, probably. From what we've seen, the only other people there are the janitors, and they probably are in different areas of the mall. I've never been to the Sherman Oaks Mall, so I don't know exactly how big it is on the inside compared to how big they're making it look here.
so how far are you from Sherman Oaks Mall?
According to Google Maps, it's about 90 something miles from where I'm at. But then I looked at the map. Like, let me bring it up right here. Let me bring it up real quick. Sherman Oaks Galleria. Okay. Let's see. Directions. Yeah, about 96 miles, fastest route. It's by the 405 freeway, which is on the opposite, which is on the far end of L.A. It's past West Hollywood, past Beverly Hills. Let's see. It's near Encino.
You wonder how many more
Uh,
movies they shot there. I mean, I'm sure that Commando and T2 wasn't the only ones they shot there after that.
yeah, that's true. I know they remodeled part of it since then, if I remember right.
Yeah, and here we have the first. Well, not the first, but the gum chewing douchebag is about to be. That ID is not going to work.
I need some more identification.
Yeah, it does look like Johnny when he puts the arms up like that. It does look like an evil Johnny Five getting ready to.
Resistance is futile.
Yeah, but
Is it?
oh, do what?
This makes me wonder, like, under normal circumstances, how were these robots supposed to subdue people?
Yeah, you wonder like the guy that
They're
just got
supposed to.
killed, like he
Were they,
couldn't. Oh, do what? I'm sorry.
were they supposed to grab them, kind of like TikTok in Return to Oz would?
Like I'm surprised the guy didn't move left. Or I mean, was it's not like he was surrounded by three killbots. I mean,
Yeah. Or they'd catch him from all sides.
yeah.
All they do is sex and fight.
I mean, was he that cornered to where he couldn't go left? I don't know. But originally, it was going to be filmed at the Beverly Central Shopping Center, but they charged too much money, so the film, of course, Sherman Oaks Galleria, where Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So that's another one that was shot there in that same
Oh,
mall. The Beverly Central was
behold,
used.
bro-
Oh, do what? Little ass
behold,
shot.
brother, that ass.
Yeah. Something's going. Yeah. So you about to. She's about to come upon the body.
Hmm.
The Beverly Central was used for some exteriors. The writers said that I think we both felt a pretty fair amount of pressure when we started shooting. It was Julie's picture, but it was still Roger's company, and he was the bottom line. We both very much wanted to make him happy.
The buck stops somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, they cut his throat too.
Oh look at that. Nice throat shot. You wonder what. So they just cut his throat. Okay.
Yep. Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Now we're. All right. Now they're on the run. They're on the move. Killbot shooting lasers.
Yeah, that's one thing I wonder is like, why are they equipped with lasers?
I, at what point does it at what she gets shot in the ass?
Yeah.
It's like at one point does the killbots and they're about to get it.
Now that
Oh,
that
bam! There it
moment
goes.
that moment right there, that was created entirely in the editing room.
Oh,
How
really?
how it looks, because they had to figure out how to make a scene of her screaming with the dummy flow without you noticing the effect. So in editing, they cut it right at the moment to where it just flows seamlessly. I think you'd probably have to watch it at like certain frames per second in order to be able to spot when it switches.
Okay. It has a great effect. So now we got two killbots.
I'm guessing that another reason they did that is probably the dummy they had probably looked very fake.
Yeah.
And if you saw it if you saw it before like if they had done a wide shot of her screaming and then a close up as the laser hit her and it exploded, people probably be like, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
These two will
but
go.
this moment is fun where they're all like diving, trying to get out of the way.
Yeah. These two killbots are going ham. I think the killbots are voiced by the director, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he had one of his buddies try it, but he wasn't getting it right. But then his buddy's like, then why don't you try it? All right. So he went in there, said a couple lines, put it through the filter, and was like, oh, I like that. This is what I'm looking for. So he did it the whole time himself.
and it says here, and I guess the guy that was chewing the gum, his character's name is Marty, right? I believe. That it's not clear why the bots thought it was necessary to hide his body or what they did with before his assistant comes to relieve him. Or am I getting ahead of myself here?
No, Marty's the
Oh, the
guy
lab
who.
guy. Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so yeah, we're way ahead of that. Now they're bunkered down.
We did it because it is in our literature programming that humans are always freaked out by what they do not understand.
But
Oh,
at
that
what
shot right there. Oh, that's a good shot.
but at what point do they start? It's like you had a point there about these killbots. They have lasers. Like at one point, do they use those lasers? Like if it's a security
Maybe
breach
it's
or
maybe it's like in Star Wars where they can set the intensity levels for stun,
yeah
and that they have to, you have to do an override in order to set it for lethality. And due to their programming being altered, maybe they were set back to read or something. It's one of those things that you think about, but the film never really gives an answer for. But you're like, well, frick it, I'll go with it.
I know what I hate to
But
be. I would hate to like. I mean, if you let's say if you're a guy that breaks into the mall and you were warned by Killbot, and then it's like, what is it, level 3, level 4, then you get the lasers? I mean, or warning 3, warning 4, strike 3.
if it's like that, at least you get more time to do something than with Ed 209, where you've got 30 seconds to
Yeah, 30
comply.
seconds to comply. Yeah.
I am now authorized to use physical force.
Yeah.
You're shooting the guy. That's lethal force. Physical force would be like when you bitch slapped RoboCop. That's physical.
Oh, yeah.
Now there they are. They are firing their lasers. But that one shot we saw of the shadow and the light, they came up with that right on the set as they were filming. They're like, gotta come up with a shot for the segue between all these closing scenes. They're like, oh, how about this? Set the light up. Oh, it works.
Oh,
Modern
man.
problems require modern solutions.
Yeah, now our characters are in the duck.
Fun part about this is that whenever they would film scenes like this right beforehand, all the actors would get down and do like 15, 20 push-ups just to get their physique to stand out a bit.
Yeah.
You got to look pumped on camera. Oh.
And I guess some other stuff, like, despite, like, in regards to trivia, despite the iconic VHS cover and ad campaign, the mechanical claw uh, scene gripping the bloody shopping bag never appears in the film. Similarly, there's only one actual mutilation in the film,
Yep, and that was one of those lab guys.
the head exploding scene. The rest of the victims die
Yep.
either by having their throats slit, being electrocuted, set on fire, etc.
That and their way into the sporting goods store, they actually did break the glass on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, it's studio glass, but them ducking for cover, that's actually legit. They don't want that might be sugar glass, but it can still cut you. And I just love this. This is something that you probably wouldn't see in a film nowadays. Is like in the mall, them having
Gun
a store
stores,
with all
yeah.
this. Yeah, I mean, you might have one that has a gun store, but they're not going to have all this stuff you're seeing. They might have the pistols, they might have the shotgun, but they're not going to have the M16 there.
Well, it's funny you
As he
mentioned
calls
it, because we do have a sporting store at our mall, and they do sell guns in there, but I don't know if it's anything like this. This is like straight up Rambo.
Yep, and
Like, this is a Chuck Norris movie.
yeah. Of course, Chuck Norris wouldn't need firearms.
Yeah.
All he'd have to do is point his finger at the
and
robot.
yeah, and boom, yeah.
Yeah, I like the score right there when we saw the shot of them walking forward and the camera panning up. Very spaghetti western-ish.
Who did the score? Do you know?
The score for this film. Oh, well, I'm looking it up.
Chuck Serino.
It's kind of a blink and you'll miss it thing, but when they start firing at the killbots right there, the first blast from the shotgun, if you pay close attention, it doesn't work. And he actually addresses that. He didn't know you had to cock it back first. He thought it might have been already cocked back, and then you see him correct himself automatically.
So are these? So the bots? I guess they're bulletproof.
Well, you got to at least make them be able to endure something. I mean, they're security bots, and if
That's
they have
right.
lasers.
Ain't no stopping these bots.
They're resistant to a point. You got to make it to where they can withstand some attacks, but theoretically, the heroes still be able to incapacitate them.
But oh yeah, the guy. Are you talking about the guy that did the score, Chuck Sereno?
Yep. This was his first film score, and he actually thought that it was just going to be a one and done as a favor to the director. But nope, he did some more ones, it looks like.
Yeah, I was looking at his some of these other ones he did. He went on to do got a long list of movies like Komodo versus Cobra, Solar Attack. I'm just throwing some names out. Bone Eater, Sea Beast, Dino Croc versus Super Gator. So I mean, this is a lot of
Sounds
sci-fi.
like some. Sounds like he mainly worked with the director again.
Yeah, he's like, you come on, you know, work with me. We could compose a lot of these movies.
And he was actually happy recently that his score for this film has actually been put on vinyl.
Oh really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he actually held up his copy of it, and since he grew up on vinyl, he considers that a big badge of honor.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. You learn something every day.
Uh,
But the special effects crew, I don't know if I mentioned this, they actually built 5 remote controlled robots to serve as the protector kilobots. 3 were required for the scenes of the robots together in the first half of the film, with 2 extras as backups in the event that the originals were damaged during any of the action sequences.
and based on what we just saw when they filled that sucker full of lead, that was not without a warrant, because they would definitely need extras if something went wrong while filming that. And as we'll see later, they definitely would need to sacrifice at least one of them.
Yeah. And in order to keep the robots looking realistic, as well as due to the film's budgetary constraints, they were constructed out of such items like wheelchair frames and pieces of conveyor belts.
Yeah, but they definitely give it that realistic vibe with its aesthetic.
Yeah, because like nowadays, I wouldn't. You know, we mentioned this before. Like, you know, I would not want to see a remake because just be bad CGI and it wouldn't have that. It wouldn't be as practical and it would look like a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
They'd make it way too big.
Yeah, that we have to feel bad for the killbots and
We did this to them. We did this to them.
and
Road
excluding.
flares.
Oh yeah, $3.99.
This is one thing though. Is like, what mall are you gonna find a bunch of cases of gasoline in a can?
Yeah, yeah. I just noticed that, and the rope flares.
Yeah, the road
Like,
flares I could see, but the gasoline in a can, like,
well, what kind of store would sell rope flares?
Army Navy store.
Yeah, true.
Oh, there it goes. It's getting up.
Oh yeah.
Must find Oscar. That would have
And
been funny if one of them was named Oscar.
and believe it or not, I don't know why I just thought of this because now that elevator looks familiar. I believe maybe I haven't looked this up yet. That maybe Inner Space was shot there too because there was a mall scene in that, and the elevator looks like the one in Inner Space. I'm just guessing. I'm looking it up. I got my phone. Because there was a mall scene in that, and it looks like the same mall. Yeah, Sherman Oaks Galleria.
Yeah, that mall was very busy.
Yeah. So, yeah, apparently, yeah, you saw that there. Yeah, you saw Commando before this. This mall is probably tired of all these movies shot.
The amount of movies filmed in this mall is too damn high.
Yeah.
But then again, that means it's probably very economical from a money perspective to film it there. Oh, here it comes.
Yeah,
Gasoline. Instant can.
gasoline.
Yeah. Fire, yeah, fire.
Take that. It's not stopping.
It's a robot. What do you expect?
It's an evil Johnny Five.
That would have. If they wanted to get very meta, that would have been a moment where it's like, of course it's not stopping. It's a machine. You didn't watch the Terminator, did you?
Yeah, it's a killbot.
Ah,
Oh, you got shot in the leg. That's a good effect right there.
my leg. I just like how they're just watching.
Yeah, they're like, try to help her. Pull Crampton out of there. They don't want to get shot by the lasers.
Yep, she's honeypotted. The machine's honeypotting her. Ooh.
Ooh, he ain't right for that gas can.
Yeah, this moment right here. This took them about 2 hours to set up, and only about 15 seconds to shoot. And once they finished, they're like, "Well, that was it. Wow, that was easy."
I'm kind of surprised now looking at it that, I mean, he shot the gas can, but the gas can didn't blow up with her, with her setting on fire. But so was that I guess that was a double, right? I mean, they have to,
Yeah.
that's a good, stunt right there. Nowadays, that would be like bad CGI fire.
Yeah, like her pulling her, like scratching her face in agony.
Yeah.
I'm really burning now. Probably also get more extreme with because of its gas with the fire melting skin, showing like bone.
Yeah.
If they had more money, they might have tried to do something like that, but.
Yeah.
And I guess they had a film snob during one showing of this film. They never elaborate whether it's a more contemporary one or a recent one. Where he asked the most obvious question you could ask for one of these scenes: when do they reload?
Yeah, I know what you mean about that.
Yeah, it's like in between cuts. We don't have to see everything.
Exactly.
I mean, we only ever see RoboCop reload twice.
I think RoboCop would take these out.
Yep. Come quietly, or there will be trouble. Have a nice day.
Yeah, why not get put RoboCop in this movie, or there you go. If there's a sequel.
Peace, officer. They start shooting lasers at him.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, do you think? I mean, we were talking earlier about a sequel. Where would you say you would have taken a sequel at? I mean,
Depends on what they did with it. Like, this is a good moment right here.
oh, there's a good moment coming up.
Yeah.
Kelly Maroney gets that shot. Bam.
And then I just love her explanation.
A good effect right there.
Yep. And there goes one of the killbots. Here it comes. That's all you need to know about that.
Yeah.
That's probably the moment where any Marines in the audience were like, ugh!
That's right.
And then, of course, they're all thinking like, well, we're not going to fuck with her.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to make sure she stays happy.
And I thought she was a good lead character. I mean,
Yep. Took charge.
and I still have to watch Night of the Comet, so I'm missing out.
Yeah, it's still on the watch list, too. I have seen Night of the Creeps, though.
And that poster behind that actress, The Lost Empire, I think. I'm just looking at that poster.
Yeah. More
I think it's The Lost Empire.
Diet Coke on the table. Probably not a product placement.
Yeah.
Along with a thing of Tabasco sauce.
Oh yeah, I noticed that too.
Just looking at that, just thinking of product placement just makes me think of that scene in the second Killer Tomatoes movie.
I've never seen the Killer Tomato movies.
I've only seen this one scene. It's where they make fun of product placement and they take it to the extreme because it's where the movie gets meta where they stop production of the movie because they've run out of money. So George Clooney suggests they do product placement. Then a guy from the Screen Actors Guild shows up and tells them he has to get paid. He has to get paid. I'm saying lines now, so I have to get paid.
Was George Clooney in the first one or the second?
the second one.
And there
And
was
then
only two of them made, right?
yep. Then they cut to a moment where they're really, really hamming up the product placement. Where the Screen Actors Guild guy comes in with a fake mustache, asking for a beer. He's like, "Well, we have a blah blah blah. Ooh, blah blah from the north, or you could also have a blah blah blah. Ooh, from the south."
I still have to
Yeah,
check out those movies.
yeah, I gotta see it all the way through. If the rest of the film is as funny as that scene, then that's probably a very entertaining film. Yeah, I didn't see the films, but I did grow up with the cartoon.
There was a cartoon.
Yep,
You
been
learn
ages
something
since
every day.
I've seen it, but they gave all the different tomatoes like different personalities. Like you had military tomatoes, you had this weird little fuzzy tomato that I'm guessing is based off of one from the movies. You have one that they turned into a human.
That's interesting. I didn't know there was a cartoon. I've heard about the Killer Tomato movies. I just never watched them or seen them. See, I have more to. I mean, there's so much out there I have to watch and check out, and I'm definitely behind on some stuff.
Yeah. This moment right here that we're seeing where they're just talking in the room. This, as I'm trying to remember, I think it was the director who described it like this, or it might have been the editor, that this is one of those moments in the film where it's like you go down into a valley before going back up for the next big action moment.
Yeah.
And it's probably one of the scenes that got trimmed in the re-editing. And definitely in the original edit, they had to trim down some of them. Because you can't have it drag too much.
Yeah, and the film moves at a fast pace. I mean, what's like an
Uh-oh.
hour? Oh, look! Watch your back.
It's 76 minutes. That's why I wonder how the original cut flowed. That's why I'm actually surprised that this Blu-ray doesn't have the original cut on it as like a special feature.
Yeah, because I just have the plain DVD, and it says an hour and 16 minutes, 28 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a fast-moving movie. I mean, fast-moving film, fast pace. Like from the moment you get Dick Miller, his character dies. You're off with these kill bots. I love how he comes up the escalator like that, and
It's like, yeah, it's like unlike Ed 209, I know how to use these things. I will not fall down the stairs and whine.
let's see, trying to see what else we haven't mentioned.
And there's gonna be a pet store coming up pretty quickly. Which there's a little interesting story about that, but I'll mention it once we actually see some of the animals. This actually might be the pet store. Actually. Let's see. Let's see what's gonna go. Oh no, not the pet store. Oh,
Oh, she got shot.
but she's not dead, thankfully. And they're gonna try to get in there now. 'Tis but a scratch. That'll
That's right.
work.
That'll
Maybe.
work. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
They're gonna start lifting.
Yeah, those killbots are like, we're not. We can do this. Yeah, but it also says right here the film's negative was tied up in legal limbo, so the Lionsgate DVD edition of the film was mastered from Lightning Video VHS Master.
That would explain it. That is probably also why there's only the second cut on here. Makes me wonder why it's in legal mumbo jumbo.
No, he's cutting through that, yeah. You wonder, you wonder why it's just 3 killbots. I mean, this is a big mall.
They probably think that it's enough to patrol the whole mall, especially over the course of a night. And this is just my guess with how security protocol works. But they also probably have something in their computer programming that is connected to all these silent alarms. So let's say someone broke into the jewelry store like we saw at the beginning. there probably is like a little thing that triggers and like silent alarm, level 1, Frank's Jewelry Store, en route.
Yeah. Like on a Friday night, I mean, it'd be busier, and then you probably would require more kill bots.
Yep. And the way they make it seem at the beginning, this is just their test run with them. That if they need, they might have put like 5, 6 of them in there.
Well, something happened. Something went wrong.
But of course,
Malfunction somewhere.
yep, there was a malfunction, and this program probably was terminated. It was a good idea, but as a Oscar winner would later say, you had your chance and you blew it.
Oh, De Niro.
Yep. We gave you the chance to have an AI security and you blew it.
And like I said, it would have been interesting to see the sequel. Maybe I would have taken it to, like I said, maybe a movie theater, or where else can you take, the kill bots? I mean,
Let's see. Movie
throwing out some
theater.
ideas, spitballing. Casino,
That's a good.
maybe.
Oh, Casino would be interesting, yeah. You robot motherfucker, you. They just killed Joe Pesci.
Yeah, yeah, Casino. Put the kill bots in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, then De Niro would not have survived the explosion. As he's getting out of his car, they come in and start lasering him.
Oh yeah.
The FBI gets shot down by the robots.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Oh, there they are. He's about to break in.
Oh, they're coming. Bam, there you go.
Knock, knock.
All right, it's time to get up. And I guess a 5.6 in IMDb. What do you feel about that?
That seems about accurate. I'm actually surprised it's not lower with how some of the films are rated on there.
Yeah, I think it deserves better than that. I mean, come on, five
At least a 6.
from 10,461 votes.
It seems like with IMDb, a lot of the voters seem to have a bias towards the older films. Unless it's like one of those masterpiece ones,
Yeah, that's true.
like something like Citizen Kane.
Yeah, but to me, this is. I mean, that's an average score, but to me, this is not an average movie. I mean, to me, this is a fun, enjoyable, batshit insane idea, and has little bits of comedy, but it's you got shot, sci-fi horror, and it's just a crazy. I mean, I should keep mentioning that, but and we're getting to this scene right here, which the guy you got electrocuted.
But is he alive?
He should have jumped off. I mean, but
Yeah, it's like that. You don't mess with electronics. You're gonna get shocked.
as a 56% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Is that the audience or the critic score?
Let me see here.
Yeah.
Audience score is 38%
Oh, fuck that.
from 6,291 ratings.
So you're saying that the critics actually liked it more than the audience on Rotten Tomatoes? That surprises me.
Seems like it.
Maybe at least the critics there could actually see this film as more meant to be fun. In fact, they actually did show like a production note on the script before production began, where it mentions that it's written not very deep, but written very professionally. It's like, really? An idea like this is not going to be very deep. This is a type of story that you do mainly for the entertainment side of cinema. Because if you try to do a depth to it, you'd probably get a little too preachy with it. Like how you mentioned before, we got to feel sorry for the killbots.
Yeah. I was looking at the reviews right here in Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, this review is talking about how the robot craze around this time, especially Rocky 4. I forgot about that. That robot and that.
Happy birthday, Mike. Happy birthday, Polly.
What was the name of that robot?
I forget, but it has a stereotypical robot voice at the beginning, but then later Polly reprograms it with the female voice. And then after they go to Russia, we never see it again.
Yeah, that's true.
You would think that if Rocky was down on his money, that they would at least sell the robot,
Yeah, I mean he can get what, a few grand out of that, or somewhere in
yeah.
the above tens.
Or maybe the robot was repossessed.
Yeah, maybe Rocky could have trained the robot. I don't know. All right, let's see audience reviews. 80s retro fun and nostalgic.
The old fake out. Oh, this would be the moment where like if this was like a Robot Chicken sketch, another robot would come out and be going, "Oh, just because I'm a robot in the closet, you think that I'm here to kill you?"
Michaela Maroney.
Yep.
It's a
I
delight.
will,
Oh, do what?
it's like I will see you in robot court.
And yeah, just going through reviews here. See what they say. Delightful little movie in the science fiction genre, not well known, but still a cult hit for those that matter. Chop 'em all, as you rightly guessed, takes place entirely. Okay, he writes a whole review here. Fun
As
flick that undeservedly got forgotten on release. Great performances from the uncast must be mentioned.
well, it did eventually get noticed in a good way because when it had its anniversary screening, you want to know where they had it?
Where's that?
They had it at the Egyptian Cinema in L.A. And the thing is, when you have a screening of a film at the Egyptian Cinema, whether it's an older film getting re-released there or a new film being debuted there, you know you kind of made it. And when the cast, when they heard that that's where that screening was going to be, they were like, I know it's an old saying, but they were happier than a pig in shit. They're like, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's like not bad for a Corman film to get a fan following that big to when they did the anniversary screening and goes to the Egyptian.
Yeah, and when you think about it, I mean, there hasn't been a whole lot of films like this. I don't know, like Killer Robots and this, kind of like one setting, like one environment, one location where it turns on the humans. Or I was trying to. What do you think? I mean,
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of them since this. Maybe that's part of the reason this one stands out because every other one is either that it has had something similar, has been different. Like how we mentioned, the same year, Short Circuit. That was more a comedy.
or they could be done in a shitty way, like Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah,
Nice try with the tank.
I love
Bam.
that. He's like you. He's like you throw this at me. Well, I will throw it back to you.
Yeah. The robot, killer bots can play catch.
Ooh, is he? Have
I
have
guess
a
it.
nice day. I think McFoley's gonna sue somebody.
So did he die like from the? I guess he has like a lot of arm power that the killbot does because blunt
He's
force
got to
maybe.
he's got to be able to detain suspects. And there she is running. In a bad first draft, this would be a moment where it'd be like, and then the door got blown wide open and in came her Marine father.
That robot's moving faster.
Yep. Like she's running, that thing's going. Oh, yeah, this I think might be the pet store. Yep, there it is.
You said there was some information on this one, this scene right here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be it's going to be a moment where she's going to have, she had no problem with the snakes and the spiders, as we'll see in a moment.
Uh huh.
And like I mentioned before, the director said that he wouldn't ask them to do anything he wasn't willing to do. He was fine with the spiders, and apparently the spiders that we're about to see get on her are well trained ones, and had been in movies before, so they would they knew their cues, which is kind of weird. You would be thinking like, really, spiders know their cues? Well, if depending on how you,
That robot doesn't give a fuck. He's just like,
it's like fuck you, Charlotte.
yeah.
Depending on
He's
what
just like knocking over tanks and just
Yeah. He's probably the reason that the pet store was on fire in Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah,
Look, see there. Spiders, snakes.
spider snakes and
Yeah, the snake, looks just like a garter snake or something. And look at there, it's like, just knock some of the spiders away. Like, fuck you, this is my close up.
you wonder
Like, see that?
what. Oh yeah, the
Like, you see
spider.
that? See how the spider was crawling up on her?
Yeah,
See, they're well trained just to, climb up. This is your mark. Just climb up there. Like, I just wonder how you train a spider to do that, but I'm sure there's some way.
is there a spider whisperer?
Probably, I mean, there's probably a spider handler on the set for that, but she
Did,
was fine with it. I mean, she looks creeped out, but I think that's more because of the robot than the spiders. But you see it's just sitting there, just chilling. But the thing is that the next animal they were going to put on that the director kind of drew the line out was a scorpion. The moment they put that in his lap, he's like, nope. I think we'll stick with the spiders and the snakes.
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Would have been nice to see a lizard in there, like you see an iguana walk up.
Yeah, you wonder like what the killbots their vision looks like. I've been
Uh, for anything, probably like a retro version of the vision that like. Remember those T1s that we see in Terminator 3?
yeah.
I would think probably like their vision, only a little bit more retro.
Yeah. But
Little Shop of Pets. I knew you were in there. You cannot fool me.
let's see here.
Look how much stuff that this mall has. It has a McDonald's. It has a sporting goods store. It has a pet shop.
See what's that behind. I'm trying to make out the letters. Crush
Crush.
Groove.
Yeah.
It looks like
Again, the mall by me has a pet store, but it's not inside the mall. It's one of the stores outside the mall.
yeah. Yeah, this mall's been through a lot.
I think this is her stunt right here.
Now she did her own stunts in this movie, right? I mean, all of the stunts. Kelly
I
Maroney.
believe, if I remember right, she did. I think they talked about using a stunt double for this one or her wanting one, but I don't know if it was in the budget. I think they did kind of. Oh yeah, she did. Oh no, she did take this one because she said this is the one she wanted to take. The only reason I remember that is because it showed that thing below her, which they probably had a pad underneath that. The reason I say probably, but more than likely they did, and then they just edited to make it look like it was a seamless fall.
And now she just fell. Okay, she fell right there.
And she went through a tarp. That was kind of like, let's see, she went to her back, around like the back of her ribs. So that probably did hurt a little bit, but.
And that remake, I know we mentioned earlier about that, and I found a little information on that. In 2011, Dry County Entertainment acquired the film rights and is planning a remake with a supernatural twist. The film will be produced and written by Kevin Bacard and directed by Robert Hall. As of January of this year, nothing has materialized.
Supernatural twist, eh? That means that they're going to be possessed.
Kind of like the new Child's Play. Or, well, the Child's Play, the new one was artificial intelligence, right? So, I mean, I can't say that.
So it's like Child's Play goes from supernatural to being artificial intelligence. So Shopping Mall will go from being artificial intelligence to being possessed.
Yeah. So we're like the first,
It's like, just like trying to think of like how would you make it supernatural with that? It's like, It's like, they even have a hardware store here.
Yeah, I gotta open all that paint up. But you don't need a remake of this. I mean,
Yeah.
we mentioned it already, but just it's not needed, it's not wanted, and
If anything, if you want to, we all know the reason why they want to remake it is because it's a IP that has some name recognition. People would go and see it if they heard it was a remake of an '80s film that has a following. Instead of making a film in the same type of vein but with totally different plot, they just want to make a film that is not quite identical but almost.
yeah.
Just slap the name on.
Or just do something that's, similar, not a
Yeah,
remake. I mean, where you can, you know, I'm not saying that has to be like this, where it takes place in a mall, but I mean, you can do a
like
Killer
the
Robots.
casino idea,
Yeah,
like the casino idea we mentioned. Like this moment right here, where she runs out and then trips like that, that was not planned.
this is a cool
That
scene. That,
I just like how he raises his arms there, like almost saying like "you little bitch,"
yeah.
and then that "have a nice day."
Boom. There you go. Great
That's
explosion.
the one. Now that's a moment where they sacrifice one of them.
But yeah, I mean, you could do something similar. It doesn't have to be a remake or a reboot or continuation. That's another word I get tired of. And something similar. I mean, people might say, well, the whole killer robots versus humans, it's sort of been done before, but, nowadays, yeah, I think you could do it. But
Like this is a term you mainly see with video games, but it could be like a spiritual successor.
yeah, like that. Like, maybe you took note from this because I have to think that if you made this today, they would give it a budget, and they can go crazy with it, but don't be like, oh, we gotta feel bad for the killbots or feel bad for. But that seems like every direction now they want to take, when it comes to the, I guess, sci-fi route or I don't know what, but
I love the lighting in that shot where you see the killbot on fire.
oh yeah, he's getting towards the end here, but
That's a moment where Beavis would be going. Yeah, she's hobbling. You can definitely tell that she's feeling the effects of everything. She's not pulling a Hogan. She's actually selling.
yeah,
Oh, he's alive, and he has TP.
yeah, it's shit paper. Look at that. That guy's. So that's
Get
all.
him.
That's where all the toilet paper went. That guy stole it.
Yeah. Are you threatening me?
Like, what is he doing with toilet paper? Am I missing something?
Well, we saw him bleeding from the head, so he probably needed something that would soak it up. And it's like, hey, toilet paper, that will do it.
Yeah, that's like gold today, buddy.
Yep. And he wasted it on blood. And there
That's
we
a
go.
nice camera shot right there coming up.
And there she is.
Kelly Maroney.
Yeah, here's something that I kind of wish we still would do every now and then in movies, or do shots from the film and show the cast. I
Yeah.
mean, this film does it. The one that probably springs to mind from this era that did it was Predator.
Yep. Predator. What else? I was trying to think of another
Uh,
one.
uh, Recently, the only film that kind of really did something like this was Avengers Endgame, but that was like around the mid part of the credits, and it was more like a collage of the actors with their signature spelling out their name. And that was more of a thank you moment rather than something as part of every single film.
Yeah.
Oh, there she goes.
Oh, the head exploded. So what? Like overall thoughts on the movie? What would you say?
It's a very entertaining film. Not too long, goes at a quick pace. It's one of those ones that certain parts of the film you do gotta put your brain at the door, like the thing, other than like coming up with like random explanations, like the thing we mentioned about why'd they hide the body?
Yeah.
Yeah, see Morgan Douglas, that was the actor's name, Technician Marty. Or
Big Eater. Robert Greenberg.
I think that was one of the guys we saw in the diner at the beginning.
Oh yeah, he's the guy that had that line. But I mean, it's such a fun movie. It's a crazy movie. I mean, and when you look back at it, I mean, it's for a film that has a sort of idea. I mean, there's not a lot of gore, but I think it's fun
Jen-
with its
Jennifer Goldsmith.
execution. Jennifer Goldsmith.
Wonder if any relation to Jerry Goldsmith.
And the cast is having fun here, and early roles for Barbara Crampton, who was Reanimator a year later, or I may have been a year later, or the same year? I was trying to think without looking, but yeah,
Reanimator was the year before.
year before. Okay, so right.
Yes.
Okay,
So it was like so back-to-back films you did for her. Yep, special thanks to the Sherman Oaks Mall.
Sherman Robinsons.
More so the owner.
Look at all these stores. Camp Beverly Hills. I guess these are all the
Yeah,
stores in the mall.
gasoline. That probably explains that
Unique
prop
product
in the
placement.
film. Do you have
19.
gasoline? Yes.
1986. And yeah, this was fun and
Oh, I love this little thing. This is a good way to code of the film.
that was
It's
fun.
like that'd be like having the end of the credits for RoboCop, have him pop up and go, "Thank you for your cooperation. Good night."
That's a classic.
Yeah,
I wanna, but yeah, I mean, this was fun, and it was fun to go back and watch the film again, and because I watched it this week again, just sort of refresh on it, and watching it again tonight for this commentary, and yeah, definitely like to pick up that Blu-ray at some point.
yeah. These features are very interesting.
And I hope for folks out there that listened, I hope you enjoyed this commentary. And again, overall, with Chop 'Em All, a fun, entertaining flick, and fun characters and a fun idea. And yeah, I mean,
Definitely earned its R rating.
yeah. And like I said, when you look back on it, it doesn't have like the greatest gore in the world, but
It has enough.
it has enough. And I mean, you get some you know head explosion, you get Barbara Crampton
Someone,
on fire.
you get someone gets shot in the ass.
Yeah. And some, memorable lines. I mean, you smell like pepperoni. I mean,
I like I like women the way I like my pepperoni
yeah.
exposed.
But yeah, this was fun, and thank you, Mario. I mean, because this was a good one.
Yeah,
So
we gotta for the next one. We gotta think of another good treasure like this.
yeah, definitely. And so hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you, Mario, for joining.
You're welcome, and everyone, have a nice day.